day. I'm Ken Demers for Psychic Holistic Spotlight. Tonight we have with us Doris Ann, an astrologer, a numerologist, an empath, multi-talented young lady, and helping me question her is
Josie Way.
Miss Josie Way. And Doris has written a whole bunch of books, many of which I would never get around to reading because they're just too big for me. But they're just full of information. And tonight, I picked out this one. And because very seldom do you hear people talk about regular playing cards. So we know people use tarot cards for divination, but did you know that you can use your regular playing cards for divination? And so we ask, how do you use your regular playing cards?
Okay, well, first of all, the tarot cards and regular playing cards have numbers on them. How did that happen, right?
I don't know.
And all the numbers mean something. Okay, and I like just to go through it. I'll do it slow so everybody can sort of catch on. The number 1 would be like an ace. So you would have the ace in the tarot, and you have an ace in the regular playing cards. And the aces mean the beginning of new things. It's sort of like the king or queen of your idea. It's like taking the idea, when you see an ace in your spread, when you're making a spread with the cards, so you would shuffle the cards and you put them out. Now you can put them out in 3, 4, or all different types of, what do they call them? Layouts. All different layouts. It doesn't really matter. Make up your own layout. It doesn't really even matter. Take one card, just pull one card, sort of meditate on it, stare at the card, stare at the color of the card, pull out a card. What does that card mean? So I'll go through that. So the ace is the beginning of things. The 2 is about feelings, but it can also be about money. Okay, so that's like a double fold type of thing. The ace is pretty clear. It's about your ideas, and it's very like you have your feet on the ground.
Let's detour just for a second.
Sure.
In tarot cards, like the clubs are more associated with money, and the other, not the clubs.
Pentacles.
Yeah, pentacles.
Yes.
Are more associated with money.
Yeah.
Does that hold true with regular cards?
Well,
and if so, what would a diamond be, or what would something else be?
So when you see a diamond, that is similar to a pentacles.
That's the diamond is?
The diamond in the regular playing cards is similar to the pentacles.
Okay.
But let me get back to the 2. The 2 still means feelings and money. So if you see the 2 of pentacles in the tarot, that is money. But if you see the 2 of pentacles, 2 of clubs or 2 of wands, that still has to do with feelings and money. It just emphasizes it more, okay? Now the 3 is about communications, okay? So communication, what kind of communication? Is it communication about money? That would be the diamonds. If it's communication about how you feel, that would be the hearts. You see, that type of thing. I'll just go through the numbers and I'll get back to what the suits mean, okay? So now we'll go to the number 4, and the 4 is a building. From the 1, 2, and 3, it's a building. So when you see a 4, it means you're at the point that you have finished what you're doing and you're starting something new. And it could be on a spiritual level. Okay, not necessarily you're building a house, but it could be a spiritual type of thing. So you need a pathway. You need to pay attention. Now the number 5, that's the card of all the cards, okay, to pay attention to, because the 5 is like I think of a butterfly. As soon as you go to touch the butterfly, it moves, okay? And the 5 can be volatile in the sense you have to see what the cards are around it, and you have to see where you are with your question, because usually when you have a layout, you're asking a question. And so anytime I see a 5, I say to myself, where am I? Where am I going? What is my question about? What is it going to do for me? What do I need to learn? Because the 5 is saying you don't know the whole story and you have to learn something. Now the number 6 is about relationships, and it's more of an abstract type of thing. And the number 7, we talked about it a little bit earlier. It's a psychic card. It's searching within, trying to find yourself. And the number 8 is a power card, so what you put out there is coming back to you 3 or 4-fold. And the number 9 is the ending and beginning of things. So that you need to pay attention to too, because when you see that, means, with your question, means something's coming to an end. What is this? What is coming to an end?
So if we get an ace and a 9 together, it's what,
Yes.
a beginning or an end?
The ace is the beginning, and the 9, you're starting new beginnings, but the 9 is saying, what you had in the past is ended.
Okay.
It's gone. So give it up. Anyone that has a 9 in their birthday means you need to let the universe take care of things. 9s have a lot of turmoil, and you just need to let things go. You are not in control of your life. The number 1s are more in control of their life than the number 9s. The 9s are saying, I'm just part of the universe, and whatever comes in front of me, I'll just take what's in front of me, and that's it. Then the number 1s, they have like the ego, and they're going to make things happen, and it does happen. I mean,
Okay. Just in case nobody understands, or many people won't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting the birth date number by adding.
No, it'd be like, in other words, I'll use mine. Mine is 12, so I have a number 1, a number 2. I have a 4, that's my 4th day. And then I have a 42, which is my year. And you add those up and you have a 5. Counting the century. I have like a grid that I use for personalities, and I don't put the century in it because the century is general. I just use like the birthday and your life path number. Now, I like to get back, so I don't forget, about the suits, okay? What is similar. So for hearts are similar to cups with the
Emotions.
with your tarot, and diamonds and pentacles are the same, and wands and clubs are the same, okay? And spades, you have a spade with the, with your regular cards, and that is the swords in the tarot. Now, just to bring it to everyone's attention, swords, when I see spades or swords when I'm doing the cards, or when I've taught it too, that means things are happening outside of you that you have no control over. So say I had a question about something and I see a lot of spades. Oops, it means like my question isn't going to be happening because there's too many other people involved. Too many other things happening involved. So the spades they're showing me it's outside of my hands, things that's happening outside of me. Now you see, I always count how many of a particular suit. So in other words, if I'm counting,
How many cards you putting down?
Yes.
That you're counting?
Yeah, I could put 9 cards down, I could put 3 cards down. The one that has the strongest, in other words, if it's hearts, that's about feelings. I'm taking this very personal. So that should open my mind up, I'm taking this question very personal. And if I'm taking it personal, I may not have a clarity in my mind about what the thing is about. If it's a club, I always, if you think of it, I always like this line about the clubs. A club is like hitting you over the head. See, it's a club, right? It's hitting you over the head. That's like the wands. And if you see it on the tarot, it shows a club and it has leaves growing from it, and sometimes it has acorns. So if you look at the pictures, sometimes it's a fall type of thing. See, this isn't going to be happening till the fall, but if it's a leaf that's plain, well, this is sort of a springtime thing. And it means you're going to be hit over the head because you're not seeing things clearly, and it's this may hurt a little bit, it may smart, but it's going to give you a strong spiritual growth. You're going to grow from this. It's something that you're not going to forget, and you won't be repeating it again. I like to see clubs because hey, it makes me feel alive. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I haven't got it yet. You know, it's just seeing things from a different viewpoint. That's why I like doing the cards and working with numerology, is seeing something from a different viewpoint that I may not see right away.
The forest for the trees.
Yes.
Because when we're living our lives, there's so much stuff that sometimes we don't know if the thing that we're concerned about is what's most important.
That's right.
For us to be, you
That's
know,
right.
if that's what the universe wants us to be working on.
Right.
And if we're busy working on getting new furniture, and what we're supposed to be working on is repairing our relationship with, you know, a family member.
More intimate type of thing.
You know,
yes.
If we're focused on the wrong thing,
You're right.
we probably do need a wand.
Yes.
That,
No, that's right.
Or a club.
I have a little story. This happened a long time ago. My girlfriend, she just had her kitchen done. It was done beautifully, all right? And her husband is a mechanic type of person, so he comes in and he muddies up the kitchen, right? So she doesn't say anything then that he muddied up the kitchen. You know, they had company and this type of thing, and once you have company and she's grouchy and she's grouchy and she's grouchy, and she says, she's telling me the story, and I said, you were upset because he muddied up your new kitchen, you know, new kitchen floor. It was just done, right? But she took it out on him all during the evening, instead of saying, I'm upset because you messed up the kitchen. So he didn't know what was going on the rest of the evening. He didn't even think about the muddy kitchen, right? And this is how it is with people. We end up not saying the things that matter to us right away. We put it on the back burner and we sort of seethe in there. And that's why working with the numerology or the cards brings that out, like put everything out on the open. You know, with yourself, and it goes back to yourself. It's not the other person; it's you.
Yeah, that's the most important thing about doing all this. When we spoke earlier, previously, we spoke about looking within and looking at yourself. And one of our camera people brought up an interesting question about when you're in the absolute midst of turmoil. Once you realize, I need to bring this to myself, I need to look at this from within, how do you accomplish that?
Well, it's very simple, and maybe most people will not like the answer to it, but you asked me, so I have to tell you. And that's by listening. And
By what?
Listening.
Listening.
Yeah,
I don't listen.
Yeah, I know, Ken. That's why you said what. How apropos. Listening, really listening. I have a philosopher that I read quite a bit. His name is Krishnamurti, J. Krishnamurti. And listening with your eyes, with your ears, with your whole being. You really listen. And if someone's throwing a tantrum, if someone's saying nasty things, then you know, not that you have to put up with that, but then you know where that person is actually coming from, and they're coming from pain. Okay, so when you have this turmoil, you're centering yourself by just listening, not arguing back. So if someone's yelling at you or saying something negative to you, you don't yell back. Hey, I've been married going on 48 years, and there was times I yelled back. Now I just let my husband finish, and I'll say, I don't like what you just said to me. And he go, oh, whatever. Oh, well, that's not going to happen. I go, I want to talk about that. And I swear that he behaves himself because he doesn't want to hear me talk about it. He doesn't want to hear me talk about it. But hey, whatever gets you there, right? But it is by listening. And it's the time that he is angry or upset about something. Maybe he doesn't feel good or something like that. When he's acting that way, I know it's him. It's not something I've done. You know, like people like to blame other people.
I have a hard
We do
time
that.
thinking of him being upset.
Oh, Dave?
Yeah.
Well, you don't really know him, do you?
Well, I mean, I've known him many years.
yeah.
I've never seen him even
Yeah, but you're in, it's,
trusted even.
well, yeah, but that's, let's face it, in a,
I'm in a small
yeah,
things when I'm
yeah, right. It's different. And hey, I'm not just saying him. It's everybody. Everybody's been there. We've all been there. I've been there myself. And when I'm upset, I may say things that are not nice, but I can own up to it now. When I was younger, I felt, well, I'm justified. But listening with your whole being is how you really know how the other person is, and you know how you are. You know where you're coming from, and hey, it works.
Okay. Your wonderful photograph of the water lilies.
Yes. This here is in Wigford. And Boston Neck, I think, am I right? Boston Neck Road in Wigford is where it is. And it's in July, so I suggest for anyone that lives in Rhode Island to check it out. It's absolutely breathtaking, and there's people that take pictures and drawings.
Now, did you write a poem for this picture?
I didn't write a poem for this picture, but this poem, you're leading me in very well. This poem sort of works with what we've been talking about with the show. And I call it redemption because so many times that we have shame and guilt, and we could have done this or we could have done that, and just need to let it go.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
That's right. We need to let that go. So it's called redemption. You live in the froth of indignation, trying to breathe the air of yesterday, the air you will never breathe again. Doubt, shame, and fear surround your soul. Stop. Hear the call. Reach beyond your grasp. Search beyond your mind. Turn your dreams back before the beginning of time and touch your inner spirit. There you will find the happy middle ground that ripples and expands, transforming the soul through your own conscious demand. And that's having awareness, how you're feeling. And if you're feeling badly about something, that's usually from the past, because the moment that you're in is always brand new. So everybody has that with this little thing, oh, I'm feeling bad about this, or that's the past. Eliminate the past. I do this sometimes when I can't shake it off, it keeps coming back. I rub my hands together and just shake it off, because now it's like I have an awareness, this foolish thought that's coming in my head. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to make anything better. Only being in the new is going to make you better. But you have to be conscious of that, It's not so easy, but how do you do that? You do that by listening again. I'll look at you when I say that.
Okay. Have you been taking a lot of photographs lately?
Yeah, there was another place that was quite beautiful. This was the first time. I live in Smithfield, and Capron Pond. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
At the park, Capron Park up in Attleboro?
No. This is in Smithfield. It's a pond.
Oh, in Smithfield.
Yeah, in Smithfield. It's Capron Hill. It's quite large, and there's a pond there. And it was this year for the fall the pictures were beautiful with the fall
colors.
leaves. The colors were excellent. And I took pictures there for the of the pond and the fall leaves. And it was funny because when I was taking the pictures, not until I got home that I realized there was a house. It was like way, way, way back. It was like this big. I'm sure it's bigger than that.
On the other side of the pond.
On the other side of the pond. Never noticed it was there before until I took the pictures back.
Now, we have to ask. Why I ask is because on other occasions, she's taken pictures of gardens, and as she looked at them, she would see little people in them.
Yes, I have.
And I'm just wondering if
I
you
wish
had
I
any
brought
more.
that. I'll have to bring that next time I come. assuming I'm coming again.
If we're still here,
You know?
probably will be.
Okay. What I did, my husband and I went to New York, Unitarian Church in New York, and what they did there, you went on different little excursions, different days, and they took us to a farm, and there was a tree that was carved out in a meditative face. It was a birch tree, and it was carved out in a meditative face. It was quite lovely. But while I'm taking the picture, I could feel something talking to me. It's like an energy, not like a voice, okay? And I kept taking the picture, kept taking pictures. Now I take the pictures home. It's digital. Take the pictures home. And there was this, I don't know what you would call
Almost
it.
like a leprechaun.
A leprechaun, or what do they call it?
Gnomes.
The gnomes. It was this big. So say a flower is this big. It was only that big. And it didn't seem to have ears, and it was sort of green. It looked like a thumb almost. It almost looked like a shape of a thumb, not, like we have a neck type of thing, but it was like a thumb. Didn't really go in that much. And it looked like it was doing this.
You're surprised.
Like the surprise, but I could feel there was an energy there. It was marvelous. So now I'm blowing it up, because when you're blowing it up, it gets more. It gets
a little distorted.
It gets more distorted. But I like to bring it in next time. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
The little house wasn't a little people house, though.
No, it was
that
a
was
real
a real
house,
house
but
in
it was
the
far
distance.
away.
but
Yeah.
that's what made me think of it.
Oh, that's what made you think of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that was a little house for the little gnome.
Talking about gnomes for a second. I own an energy vortex up in Situate.
Yes, you mentioned
And the
before.
ferry that's in charge of it, the guys of the wings, tells me I have to do a ceremony there periodically. So we did one there 2-3 years ago. And at this, I had like all the representatives of like 5 or 6 different spiritualist churches there. So there's
Oh, nice.
tons of mediums
Oh,
there.
that's wonderful. Nice energy.
And there's 30, 40 people. And so we do the thing, and in the Native American tradition of walking them in the different directions and walking them in
Right.
this and that, I welcomed in the fairy and the elves.
Okay.
About halfway through the ceremony, one of the mediums comes up to me. He says, "The gnomes are very unhappy with you. You didn't welcome them in." Who knew we had gnomes?
Right.
But they're there. I guess
They're
it's
there.
a lot more common. I had another mediumistic friend of mine sitting on a rock down in Dayville, Connecticut, another piece of property I own, and she gets communicating with the fairies and the elves and stuff that were there, and they're telling her that they used to visit the other site, which was kind of a major vortex. They used to visit that site, which is 15, 20 miles away, by going through the roots of the trees.
Oh.
Because of all the roads, it's much more difficult for them to do it now, but they still can do it through the air. So I just thought it was neat. I mean, it's, you know.
No, it's, to me, it was very surprising in the sense that I had that feeling that I should be taking pictures and that something was there, but I didn't know what until I saw it like later on. And what happened, I had the picture and then what's that? And then I made it bigger and bigger, and then I could see it. I just couldn't believe it. It was quite surprising.
There's very little question. It was a little individual.
Yes,
I saw the picture.
yeah.
Now, because I'm from a spiritualist background, spiritualist church,
Right.
where medium people tend to get non-physical people or orbs or whatever.
All right.
Okay, because you're so sensitive as an empath, does that kind of stuff show up in your photography?
I would say this was the only thing that really showed up. in
Okay,
my
so you don't see
photography.
like people standing there or ghosts or faces?
No,
or,
no,
Okay.
no, I don't.
especially with the digital camera, because they seem to
They're more
work
sensitive.
well
yeah,
for that.
yeah. No, I know I brought in last time a sunflower that you had hazes around it, that you said you could see, it seemed like spiritual. You don't remember, but this was the last time I was here. But I don't really think about it. It's like I'm sort of one with it when I'm doing it, because that's how I write my poems. It's like I am the flower. I'll have to bring that poem in that I wrote a while back, because it's saying that you are the flower, you are the wind, just like we're all connected. We are part of that. I'll
The oneness.
bring that poem, the oneness of everything. And, you know, getting back to when we were talking about when you're in turmoil, is to see the oneness of when you're not, someone, you know, will say their energy is not resonating with yours, but the oneness is still there.
Well, I know for me, I knew it before I could internalize it.
Yes.
And I'd say, I know this isn't what it appears to be. I know that there is much less turmoil here than is really going on. And I know it's not as big as it seems. It's a mountain out of a molehill. I know and I know it has something to do with my growth. And once I started setting my mind to realizing, whenever I didn't understand something, I realized something like that was going on.
Yes, yes.
And I might not be able to understand it, but I would get something from it.
Yes.
I would get some growth or something
Right.
positive.
Well, it never ends, really. We're
Yeah.
always growing. There's always one more thing. I tape with the DVR, I guess you call it. I don't know. I get the initials all mixed up. Oprah is on channel 84, and I really like her interviews with people. And I can't remember who said it. My mind's blank who said it, but she said something to, when someone says something negative to you that's, like, we'll say mean, not necessarily negative, because someone could say something because who knows what, but something that's really
Definitely mean.
like mean and malicious type of thing. And she says, in a way, they're trying to kill your spirit. And I thought that was an excellent way to present it and to have an understanding. And it's like that person has self-hatred themselves. So now they're upset with you because maybe you're happy or whatever it is. And how do you deal with that energy when it's happening? Again, we go back to listening. You don't have to absorb their stuff. Everybody, we're all connected, but we're individuals. So your stuff is your stuff, my stuff is my stuff. And we communicate and help each other and learn from each other to have a better life, you know, to have more joy to life.
I want to switch back to your books for a second.
Sure.
We've only got like 2 minutes left.
Okay.
My thing is I like to tell people they can accomplish something, how they can learn, how they can do this themselves. You have so much information here, astrologer, numerologists, and whatever else. If you were going to try and tell somebody in 30 seconds or so how they should start the process of understanding divination, and
themselves, maybe.
that's part of it. Learning the tools is first.
Well, this is
How do they
something,
start?
this is very, very easy. Everybody has a favorite book. It wouldn't work with Kindle because you need to have a book. Hold the book, try to be in that space, maybe look at a candle first or an object that you like, be in that space, and then open the book, okay? And read a paragraph, read one sentence. Right there is the beginning of the new you. Okay? And say you say, well, this sentence doesn't make sense. Well, then you need to think a little bit deeper, because we're all connected. The universe will guide you. You're opening that book and that sentence is there. Figure something out. Think of it. Maybe even apply it for that day. The other thing that's very good is journals. Writing When I first started, just writing one word or one sentence, you know, little squares in your calendar, just write, and then look back of what you wrote, and you can see your growth. You know,
Okay.
it's very, very simple.
Well, we're winding up, and we want to thank you from Psychic Holistic Spotlight, Doris Ann, Reg House, Josie, myself, Ken, and if you have questions,